Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 43, Blast from the Past. So, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to share a little bit about my personal journey and what's been going on today. I just sense that it is lagging a little bit. I don't know if that's true. We just have to see if I get any feedback. Okay, so today has been interesting, and I decided to share about my own process. I get a lot of questions about that, so I will try to explain what happened today, see if I remember. This is interesting because I didn't sleep last night, so I woke up in the middle of the night, couldn't sleep, thought I could get back to sleep, but I didn't, and had a lot of stuff processing and coming up. We are at the tail end of the snake year. I don't know if you're feeling that there's these last sheddings that is happening. I'm definitely feeling it and taking full advantage of the situation. So because I didn't sleep, that makes me more sensitive to feeling emotions, different processes, energetics. It makes me very, very sensitive. And I had an appointment this morning that was stressing me out a little bit because so there's been these processes in myself, and then so we have an external situation that triggers something that is unprocessed in ourselves. And this meeting this morning was one of those situations for me. And I could feel the tension building up, but I also realized that this has nothing to do with the situation itself. So I felt that it was like not a challenge, but like not a test, but I could sense that I was able to handle the situation in a very, very different way. So I was put in a situation where I started to feel a lot of stress because the process that was triggered because I didn't sleep, and also I have tried 2 days this week to have a glass of wine. And the first time it was really nice and interesting. And then I decided to follow up on that yesterday because we went to Italian dinner. And I had a wine that was much, much less, it wasn't as good quality. So wine is not a thing that is very commonly available over here. So I had a glass of wine that wasn't particularly very good. And somehow this triggered old patterns in me. So the lack of sleep and I had a feeling, I was like asking myself, why am I going to have this glass of wine that I'm not particularly fond of? And I just asked my body, and it came up some sort of information about this is going to activate something from the past. It's like the body is clearing a type of energy or a type of energy from the body. So when I have this glass of wine, there's a lot of detoxification processes that starts in the liver. And since I haven't had a glass of wine in years and years and years and years, I've had 6 glasses of wine in 9 years. And that was on 2 occasions. So I knew that it would trigger something. So this morning, no sleep, and I woke up feeling hungover, but I wasn't hungover. So as the day was coming about, I started to have experiences that it's like a residue of a lot of experiences from the past. So all of a sudden, I was having a parallel experience because I was here and I was doing completely fine. But then I was having a physical experience at the same time that was a very much a blast from the past and a very unpleasant one. And I could notice how old patterns and old fears and old emotions was coming to the surface in the same breath as the stress was rising for this thing that I was doing, but there was no evidence that this was not going to go well. But there was this old weird feeling that wanted to hang on to this very important thing that I was doing. And this uncomfortableness was just rising and rising in the body, and it was getting very intense there for a while. And I could just feel how my whole system wanted to go into, well, that's not true. My mind wanted to go into a, a, a certain narrative and go into a certain emotional loop of fear and worry. What if this doesn't work out? But then my body was refusing to go in and do that loop. There was a part of me that was just, no, we're not doing that this time. And I could have both experiences at the same time. So I had this very strange hungover, but not hungover. So it was like a ghost of something that wasn't there. But I was feeling all sorts of ways, and it was starting to get very, very uncomfortable. And I felt the fear, but I didn't go into it. And I have to say, I was dealing with it very well. And there was this insight or this shift in my body where I could look at my own suffering and see it from this human and soul perspective that I've been speaking about the last couple of days. So I was having a soul and human experience at the same time. And the human experience was multi-layered because it was like I was detoxing the past. So as I'm doing this and I'm choosing the positive and I'm choosing not to go into it, I'm starting to realize that this is where I shift my reality. So all of a sudden I could catch myself and I could realize, oh, there's a part of this suffering that I'm doing to myself, that there's a belief system inside of me, and there's a pattern and a behavior that is fueling this idea that I was suffering. And it was like it was turning that emotion and that experience like up. It was turning up the volume. And I could notice myself, what if I don't turn up the volume? So I started to experiment because I was waiting. And I was waiting for a long time. At least that's what it felt like. And I was working with the energy in real time and I was processing it. So I was really busy there, standing, waiting. And I started to feel really uncomfortable and really, really awkward and weird. And that's when I was like, okay, this is the old, it's an old kind of stress that I haven't felt in 20 plus years. So that's coming back. So I could watch in real time that blast from the past and experiences and memories and things was coming. And then my appointment showed up, and he just came And the energy from him was the complete opposite that I was having in my body, and all the fear and the things that I was processing. And I just look at him, and he has not a problem in the world. He just looks at me and just smiles, and the hair and the sun, and the whole thing was over in like a minute and a half. It was just this and then that and then done. And I was like, what? I was preparing for this whole thing I was going to face something, and I was going to feel something. And I was just standing there like, what? We're done? Because I had found a problem this morning that it was like, oh, so I could really see how this could turn into something very unpleasant. And all of a sudden, all of it was solved in a fraction of a time. And that really made me perplexed, because I had a conversation with God last night when I was when I was up all night and feeling all this kind of processing of old fears and such. And I was like, okay, we're going to use this. There's an internal process going on, and then there's an external process, and then the mind has found a loophole to project the fear. And I realized, okay, this is where we're doing this now. And then I really started to process that, and I started to shift the energy, and things started to get very interesting. And I told God last night, and I was so sick of this fear. I was just like, I can't believe we're doing this again. I mean, I didn't feel bad. And that is what I really want you to know, that I feel bad, but I don't feel bad. It's like I'm having a not so positive experience, and I'm processing not so positive energy or emotions or things from the past, but I'm fine with that. I'm very much up for that task. And over the years, when I've been purging a lot and going through, it's been looking at the truth and feeling certain emotions is not always fun. But when people ask me and say, how am I doing? And I was like, yeah, I'm doing good. But you don't look so good, and you look like you're, having a hard time. And I was like, yeah, I'm having a hard time, but I'm really happy about having that hard time, because I've worked really hard to feel this bad, because I'm processing a lot, and I want to meet this, because I want to meet that part of myself, and I want to integrate that part of myself. So when I speak about this, just so you know that I'm not suffering. The human might have some opinion here and there, but overall, I'm doing good. So just so you don't need to worry about me. if I seem tired, you could probably see that I haven't slept so much. But I'm doing good, because I'm taking the opportunity to work through whatever energies that are coming up. So after this, I told God that I'm so sick of this, and just don't put me in these situations anymore. I'm done with these, and you need to show me now that show me with this process how things are doing currently. Give me the average of our experiment together, our adventure together. And then it cleared in a minute, and I was like, okay. So I was asking for confirmation and got confirmation instantly. And that made me look at myself even more deeply. And over the process of time, over the day, I was getting more and more uncomfortable in my body. And I was starting to put on demands to the world that it needed to, and start to control things in different ways. And then I could catch myself and realize, now so I could notice this is an old pattern, and how I navigate the world in order to try to control the suffering that I'm experiencing. And when I started to give that up, when I realized that, what if this is all just an illusion, that what I'm going through now is not real in that sense? Like, what if I could do an energetic shift in and around this situation right now? And that's when I started to shift my belief systems that I was suffering. I mean, I was tired, I was this, it was hot, it was all of these things. But then I just realized, like, yeah, but I'm going to be fine. This is all going to go well. This is fine. And then my reality started to shift, and everything was starting to feel much better. Things were starting to, synchronicity started coming, and all of a sudden I was feeling pretty good. I mean, I'm tired, but that's fine. And then the day started to open up in a way that was quite extraordinary. And even though it was happening a little bit too late, I was looking for a certain setup in the city when I was tired, because I was like, I need to get a massage, or I need to get a meditation. I need to do something to drop into my body, to connect to myself and to recharge. And I wasn't given that opportunity. And what I did was I shifted my mindset and my approach to what was happening, and I could realize that I was giving myself a much harder time than I had to. And this is where it felt like there was just a residue. It wasn't the real old pattern. It was like a fake. I was being scammed. That's how it felt. I was being scammed by an old pattern that wanted me to go into a collapse and childlike state and feel sorry for myself, and no, I need to do this and this and that. And then I decided to have another mindset, and the whole energy started to shift. And that was really, really interesting. Really, really, really interesting. And then a bunch of other fun things happened. So my plan was to talk a little bit about the damage and the effects that happens when we are not taking full accountability for our own energies. But I'm going to do that when I'm a little bit more on top of things, especially if we're going to go into teachings and such. So I don't want to do that from this state. It feels, because this night, I was about to say, but last night when I was awake all night, I could feel that there was something different about this time, and I can feel it in my body. Things are happening. It's getting interesting. It's 4 days until horse year. Who knows what's going to happen? Or maybe the shift is very undramatic. We'll see. But the plot thickens, and it feels like I'm growing by the minute, and that the little rattlesnake at the end is working its magic. So I can't really update yet exactly what's happening inside. So I will have to report back on that when I have more data, when I have more information. So it's going to be a short one today. I'm going to take a Friday afternoon. I'm going to grab some of the afternoon sun. I'm going to go and see what Lucky is up to, and I'm going to go have maybe some juice or some fruit, and really just have a good day, because it's been a really good day, and it's extraordinary when we learn to shift these energies. And it's like we're being faced certain, some days are just like that. And when we can work with the energy and start to shift the energy, then the external world also starts to open up, which is extraordinarily interesting when it happens in real time. So, I mean, now it's 5 p.m. and this was happening early morning, and I have almost forgotten exactly what happened. So if I'm to share this, I need to share it in real time. Otherwise, the interesting parts of it is gone, and I feel like it's almost already too late. That I have like a feeling like, how interesting was that? My self-criticism, Dr. Skeptismo. That's fine. Okay, I hope you have a good Friday, a nice Friday, and that I will see you tomorrow. Sending you lots of love. Ciao.